again to another edition of the Phil Taylor Jones Show. You know, this seems to be a daily occurrence, you guys and I. Well, the topic is Decision 2016, as usual. We're trying to do our utmost to keep you informed as to what's going on with the Green Party's nominations for president and vice president. That would be Dr. Jill Stein and Mr. Ajamu Baraka. We want to keep these people in the forefront because we at the Phil Taylor Jones Show, as well as many other Americans around the country, believe that these two individuals are our best bet for having some type of positive change within our political system, which is a total wreck. But before we get on to these two people, you can't help but look at the two dregs of society that the two greedy, sadistic parties have placed before us to vote on in November, that being Hillary Rodham Clinton and Donald J. Trump, or as I sometimes refer to them as the blonde-haired crook and the orange-haired chook. You know, it never ceases to amaze me about the aspects of humanity. There's a constant push, and has been for at least the past 2 weeks, about Hillary Clinton's health condition. She's got epilepsy. She's got irritable bowel syndrome. She's got Parkinson's. She's got this. She's got that. There was even a totally moronic picture of her stepping up on a step stool to get into an SUV to, I guess, go off to one of her junkets wherever she was going. And the notification on the picture said, "Would you use a step stool to get in a car?" Well, first of all, whoever developed that picture was a stupid imbecile, because the picture of the vehicle that she was getting into was an SUV, and a big one. It looked like it could have been a Yukon or a Suburban. And it wasn't modified like some of the ones we see where it's been dropped a bit and has low profile wheels and tires. It's a standard issue. Okay, I don't care for Hillary Clinton at all. And anybody who knows me knows that. But I mean, common judgment dictates that here we're dealing with a 68-year-old woman who isn't that tall. And just because she is a dirtbag doesn't necessarily dictate that the Secret Service people that are working around her are dirtbags. Maybe they saw fit to try to help the woman. And what's wrong with that? Humanity helping humanity. Just because she's a dirtbag doesn't mean she shouldn't have a leg up to get in the SUV. But that just shows how small-minded and how ghoulish American people can be at times. Some American people. As I said, they're alluding to the woman's health issues without having any real concrete evidence of the woman being sick. At the same time, here is the orange-haired chook, Donald Trump. If Hillary Clinton is having physical health issues, then I would question Donald Trump's sanity. Because the man says things and does things that aren't really in the same zip code as reality. For instance, in his speech, he said that within 1 hour of his presidency, he would get rid of all of the 11 million or so immigrants, illegal ones, in the country. Really? 1 hour. You do have a Superman complex, don't you? I question this man's sanity on a lot of different scores. You know, like as I alluded to in the show the other day, when he went to Mexico, he was one Donald Trump, and when he came back to Arizona, he was yet another Donald Trump. It's like the guy has bipolar or some kind of mental condition, multiple personalities or something. Something is definitely not working there. Now, having said that, we are now in the month of September. Day 2. And we're getting so quick and moving so fast to that November 8th date. The followers of these two people, or in Trump's case, the worshipers, you really need to contemplate what you're worshiping or what you're following. Again, I looked at some news bites or news programs, from around the world. And again, I say, the world is laughing at us. As each day draws nearer to that November 8th date, the world is laughing and ridiculing American people for even considering, not actually doing it, but considering voting for two known people of, shall we say, questionable nature. And again, I say, having known all of the stuff that's out there about Hillary Clinton, having known all of the stuff that's out there about Donald Trump, and some people are still pushing forward to vote for these two dregs, makes me wonder, where's your common judgment? Are you that desperate? Or are you that fooled? Sure, we know that the news media is terrible. They fabricate, they lie. They're news whores. That's what whores do. They, try to make themselves look appealing. But you can't blame this all on news whores. Some of the stuff that these people have done, Clinton and Trump, have come from their own mouths, have come from their own actions, have come from their own positions. The news media had nothing to do with that. So at this point, we must ask ourselves, are we clutching at straws by trying to blame the news media? Or is it that we're just that bullheaded that we don't really want change in our society? Or are we that misinformed that we'll vote for any fly-by-night creep that comes along? Because of the rigged, antiquated, and disgusting electorate that we have, the system by which we vote, I would hate to think that something like that would keep us from having a quality team of Stein and Baraka to go into the White House and begin to make improvements. These people don't have scandal. They're not riddled with scandal or problematic stuff that would make the voter cringe, but yet still vote for that person. We've got two clean specimens. And we've got two people who have worked together. They've worked separately for human rights, for constitutional rights, to uplift humanity, to uplift American politics to a new echelon by which we can be proud of and respect. For myself, I could never bring myself to respect Hillary Clinton. I could never bring myself to respect Donald Trump. They're not likable. They're not respectable. They're not trusted. Why would you go forward knowing in your mind's eye that these two people are corrupt? These two people are problematic. These two people are from corrupt, problematic parties that have run our country into the ground. But yet, you still mark your pin finger to go and vote for them? Is that using common judgment? I don't think so. You see, as I've said before, these two parties have allowed our country to go into what some people might say elegant decay for many, many decades. Yeah, I spoke of Reagan. I said he was good for the economy, and he was. He did a pretty good job of the economy, but he too was problematic. Contragate, other little or big things that his SDI and Strategic Defense Initiative, later billed as Star Wars, was problematic for his reign as president. But ever since Reagan, we've really been on the decline. And again, from these two parties. And now it seems that from the top seat in our governmental position to the lowest, from president to, I guess it would be alderman in your very city, it's been filled with corruption and creepy one-handed politics. That's all that ever seems to come to the plate. People with self-serving agendas. People that are there representing somebody else in a faraway land with a funny-sounding name. The places where terrorists come from. Each one of these people that have taken office, especially the office of president, have not had our best interest at heart. That's more than evident by what you see them having done to our country. How can you allow foreigners, good, bad, or indifferent, to come to our land and prosper when we've got American citizens in every major city on the streets? And this includes those that valiantly went to wars and fought for us, our veterans. What a shame that is. Mr. Trump talks about building a wall when our veterans have been suffering for decades and seemingly no one has built a better hospital. Hillary Clinton speaks of bringing more foreigners in, more refugees. Well, that would be like Ms. Clinton inviting refugees to her house and neglecting Bill and Chelsea. You take care of your home first. And if you have extra charity, then you give it out. Charity starts at home. How can you tell someone how to grow hair on their head if yours is bald? How can you say that you're humanitarian accepting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in when you've got millions on your own streets? How do you justify that? Stein and Baraka have been at the forefront as far back as '96 and further, helping, constructing, implementing the ways of human rights, the attributes of the constitutional rights. These people feel for other people. And what a shame it would be. What an utter travesty it would be because of a corrupt, political, greedy system that these two people are looked over, or rather overlooked than looked over. As the saying goes, it's much better to be looked over than it is to be overlooked. Money-wise, They're working with little and nothing. The grassroots and the Green Party are funding their campaign. They don't have billions of dollars of free advertisement. They don't have celebrities that are going to host $25,000 to $35,000 a plate dinners for them. They don't have a president who jumps on Air Force One and spends up all of our money running from this town to that town, gathering up money to give to his favorite girl. No, they're out there fighting for us, scratching and scuffling to make sure that we know who they are so that we will vote for them and get them into office. So again, I say, don't let these idiots, both in the news or realm or these pitiful citizens of this wonderful country, fool you in saying that a vote for the Stein Baraka ticket would mean an implementation of Trump or Clinton. A vote for Stein Baraka is a vote for Stein Baraka. The magic of it all is making sure that enough votes are there to seal the deal for them as our candidates for the presidency, and that they get it. They get elected and put their good works, working for the common good, into effect and help to turn our country around. See, they're not going in there with a mentality that they're gods. I can turn this around. I can do this. I know how to work it. I know how it runs. That's not the philosophy of Jill or Ajamu. They're going in there with an agenda to help their fellow humans, their fellow Americans, because they themselves look at each aspect of what we're going through on the human level, humanitarian. They know and fully understand the effects of war, and understand that that's the absolute last option. Because when you push that button, when you sign that declaration, when you push that through, millions, or at least hundreds of thousands of our armed forces personnel are putting their lives on the line. So Jill won't be going out there with a gun. Ajamu won't be going out there with a gun. They'll be sending our men and women. So before you reach that level, you want to make sure that each and every avenue, vehicle, approach, whatever you wish to call it, has been exhausted before you say, okay, we have no other recourse but to go to war. Because war is something that at some point we have to do. We may be nonviolent as all get out, but at some point you're going to have to defend yourself, either as a person or maybe even as a country. But you want to make sure it's the last resort. They understand this. They understand a great number of things that we need to have a commander-in-chief and a vice to understand. That's why it's very urgent. It's apparently urgent. It's abundantly urgent that we finally get a team in there that understands what we need them to understand and act upon it. Not go in there some haughty, pompous ass that's going to end up getting us in a war probably within his first hour of his presidency, should he make it, or a creepy, crooked woman who, by which the way she acts, either gets us in a war, or with her bringing so many of these people that can't be trusted, Again, not all of them that would come over here can't be trusted, but a vast majority to make you say, is it worth the effort to come over here and cut loose and start a ruckus and kill us? And we know that these people are capable of doing it. Why? Because they've done it so proficiently. The human rights aspect of what we're going through is wrong. Our senior citizens on Social Security living on anywhere from $560 some odd dollars to maybe $1,300 or $1,400. No COLA, and by COLA I mean cost of living adjustment. They're suffering, living hand to mouth, too much month left at the end of the money, but yet we can find some other pitiful mess to bring into our country and set them up in almost royalty. It's unthinkable. We have lost who we are as a people. You take care of your mates first and always. And if there's something left over, by all means be willing to share. We have gone too long with the wrong kind of leadership. In recent history, 16 years, we have gone with the wrong leadership. George W. Bush, Republican, wrong leadership. Got us involved in these decades-long wars to vindicate his dried-up father. Wrong leadership. Got rid of Saddam Hussein, left a big vacuole, and now look at what you got over there in Iraq. Problems. Al-Qaeda fell way to ISIS. Problem. In Barack Obama, Hussein Obama. Ring a bell? Wrong leadership. He and his wonderful Secretary of State went over to Libya, messed up things, got rid of Muammar Gaddafi, left a vacuole. Bigger ISIS problems. 4 wonderful people, American people, 3 servicemen and a diplomat murdered on Hillary Clinton's watch. Therefore, on Barack Obama's watch. Wrong leadership. 16 years of wrong leadership. And here we go again with the same Hillary Rodham Clinton that caused all that problem, and now a new player, Donald J. Trump, who on his own has problems that are beyond reason. And you want to go down that road again? Picking wrong leadership. Again, from these same greedy parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. Haven't they shown you what they're capable of? Haven't they shown you what they're willing to give you to vote on? Haven't they shown you that they have no business being a part of our American politics? They have failed miserably, failed constantly, failed, always failed epically. So anybody with a common shred of decency, with maybe 2 active brain cells, would figure we need something new. We need a change. Dr. Stein and Mr. Baraka are that change. Again, I would urge you to look at what you have been worshiping in the way of Donald Trump, and look at what you've been supporting in the way of Hillary Clinton. Look at them. Weigh the evidence. And then ask yourself a question. Am I really backing the right person? Am I really backing somebody who is really going to get in there and do what we need to have done? Not following their own agenda because they think they're Superman, or not following their agenda because they claim that they're with us and that we're stronger together. Because the record has shown time and time again, we're weak. And how are you going to make America great when you can't even make things in America? Think about that thing, people. Don't let us get stuck in the same muck and mire that we've been stuck in for 16 years. Because they're saying whichever person gets in there is more than likely going to pull a two-term. Because you look at what we had during the debates on either side. We had nothing. Some people think that we had a lot of quality candidates, but we didn't. We had Huckabee, we had Ben Carson, and we had Chris Christie. The rest of them sucked. That's why they didn't make it. And even the good ones didn't make it because this Trump fella went out there and he just spilled a lot of rhetoric that got his worshipers to, worship him even further. But you can worship all you want to, but at the end of the day, the question will be, can this person really do the job? Study that thing. Look at it for all it's worth. And then I ask you again to take a look at the Stein Baraka ticket. And let's do our best to get these people in there. Because at the way these people have worked it, rigged it, corrupted it, you might think that Jill Stein and Ajamu Baraka have a snowball's chance in hell of getting in there. But stranger things have happened because we the people have the strength. We the people have the conviction. But we the people seemingly have been misinformed because we seemingly want to go and vote for two people who have major baggage. The world is watching. The world is laughing. And we as Americans don't need that kind of ridicule from anyone. Especially those countries that have screwed up their other countries, like Angela Merkel, like Frank Holland, and like those in Great Britain. But they look down upon us and they laugh at us because we got two idiots like Trump and Clinton at the forefront to be the president. Please, let's rethink that thing and make an informed choice, a good choice, a choice of pride, a choice of integrity on November the 8th. Exec, what do you got? I need water.
I'll start off with an update on the petitions being signed to get the Green Party, or at least the Independent Party, on the debates. It's basically on her webpage in the section that says get involved. It's under the subsection open the debates. Out of 100,000, we have 92,386 signatures, which is good, but we need to get there in the debate stage itself. And as I've said on previous shows, we shouldn't even have to do that if we're an official party. And as of right now, let me actually get that checked out. Where we are as far as being on the ballots and everything. If we have currently, let's see what it is, 40 states now, we got one more, it was 39 before, then we shouldn't have to go through the trouble of trying to get a petition for it. We're officially recognizing that many states, 10 more to go, then we shouldn't have to have no petition. We should automatically be recognized. But that being said, we were speaking a little bit about Ajamu. If you go to Jill's page and click on Meet page at Meet Ajamu, you'll see that there are a lot of accolades that has been given to him, a lot of rights he's been fighting for. He's a human rights defender. And one thing that stuck out to me, if I can find it, there's about 10 long paragraphs about all his accomplishments, and here it is. The following year, received an award for the abolitionist of the year for the National Coalition to Abolish Death Penalty. He received the Human Rights Guardian Award from the National Center for Human Rights Education. What award for helping out human beings has Donald Trump won? What award has Hillary Clinton for helping out human beings won? For Hillary Clinton, she's been in courts, with the FBI hounding her, So that's not what we need. We really need to have change, as you said. Way back when I was working, one of my customers, when Obama was going to be voted in the very first time, they said, oh, he's going to bring change. That was his campaign focus, change, change, change. And I said, that remains to be seen. I was being honest, brutally honest, like I always am. And they said, oh, don't say that. I said, well, I said it, and I'm going to say it because I don't know what's going to happen. I wonder if that person is now saying, well, that person Chris was right. Because, we do, as you alluded to throughout the whole show, and as we have been alluding to through all these shows we've been doing, supporting Stein. We need something that's totally different, something that, I've got the wrong page here, something that's not what we've been having all this time, because that obviously doesn't work, at all. So I'm just going to try to get to a certain section here about the issues. If you look at our issues, this will explain what I'm talking about. America, when has it been in our hands? How long ago has it been? Probably never. We need to have control over what happens in our own lives through the vehicle of a presidential candidate, a president. And with Jill's issues that she has, she's trying to do that. The jobs as a right, create living wage jobs for every American who needs work, replacing unemployment offices with employment offices. Advance workers' rights to form unions, achieve workplace democracy, and keep a fair share of the wealth they create. That's putting the control of America back into the workers. Right there. End poverty. Guarantee economic human rights, including access to food, water, housing, and utilities, with effective anti-poverty programs to ensure every American a life of dignity. That's, again, putting America back into the hands of the people, having their choices that they make affect them, not some big corporate company or corporate government making the choices to affect their lives, which is at the very bottom. Empower the people, abolish corporate personhood, protect voters' rights by establishing a constitutional right to vote. Another thing about this voting for petition thing, actually not the petition, but the getting the ballots approved. Enact electoral reforms that break the big money stranglehold and create truly representative democracy. Another way of getting the big companies out of control, power brokers and everything. Public campaign financing, ranked choice voting, and proportional representation in open debates. That's exactly what's needed to get some kind of real change for once, because the policy she has is focused on not keeping America rich like Donald Trump is, or trying to keep foreigners coming in here like she is, but actually bringing change. And speaking of that, we were watching the live stream for Trump's immigration speech and everything, and I had made the grievous misfortune of, since his debate was delayed by 2 hours total, about saying in the little internet lingo, in before he delays it for another hour. Someone mentioned me, I don't know how they did it, at Chris, I guess you love immigrants, or you love immigration. I said, no, wrong. I can't stand immigration. Well, and then he says, oh, but I'm just a person that goes the opposite of Trump, and so I'm voting for Hillary, and I'm just going to be, screwing muzzies and stuff. And I said, I wouldn't even dare dream of something like that. I'm not voting for Hillary. And then the person said, well, there's no other choice. I said, wrong a third time. There's Jill Stein. And I put Jill 2016, Jill 2016, com, because you put a dot in there, it blocks it out. And then I didn't hear anything from that person. So they either, got to thinking and went to that webpage, or figured, well, I was wrong. I can't really argue because he's right, but I hope he went to that page and checked out Jill Stein, because that's why we make the shows, to try to get people to see that that's not the only two choices as the media and politics would have you believe. But we do need a strong change, not the kind of change that Barack did. He was preaching change, and all we got was from bad to worse. We need to go from worse to better. we believe at the show that only Jill Stein and Mr. Baraka can do it, you know. But I think I've exhausted my thoughts, so I'll pass it back on over to you.
Well, I'll close out the show by saying, when you look at candidates, you'd like to think of people putting their best candidate forward. A person that's free of scandal, a person that's free of corruption, someone that's pristine, especially on the heels of having such a tumultuous, horrible administration before that. We preach democracy, we preach capitalism, we preach and we admire all of these things, yet we've got two individuals that are the most likely candidate you could possibly have, that think, that want to provide for our country in a positive way because they are two positive individuals. Everywhere they go on their little whistle stops, they are admired and respected because they can be trusted. That's the most important part. Who do you trust to properly run our country, respect its Constitution, respect its Bill of Rights, respect its people? Who do you trust? And like again, I'll say it, I would hate to miss out on two wonderful people that could run our country proficiently, efficiently, and take us in a positive direction, both here and around the world, to make us respected again because of some crooked, creepy politics and creepy, crooked political parties that care about no one but themselves. I urge you to think about that thing. We thank you for joining us for the Phil Taylor Jones Show. We hope that as you go into the weekend, you'll be happy and keep that smile on your face and stay trouble-free as you can, because we live in a nutty world. It's going to be a holiday, Labor Day, so we hope that you enjoy that too. Don't eat too many ribs or hot dogs or, barbecue chicken. Let's try to dump the hate and increase the peace. Increase the peace by electing the right people to help us do just that. We'll see you next time here on the show. Bye-bye.